Fleet and Ernest John's been tagged? Do they know that this is happening?
Yes, it was Ernest Jones liked some face on Instagram rather.
Ooh, cool. All right, we're just about to go live now. Okay, I'll get back to that answer in a minute, Petra. Fleet and Ernest John's been tagged. Do they know that this is happening?
Yes,
Okay. Perfect. All right, going to record now. Allora, welcome to another episode of Supersize Media and the fabulous Supersize Media team. Today, we're going to be talking about two fantastic brands where we do a weekly breakdown of a local company who's doing particularly well on social media and finding out ways that they could be doing it better. And then we look at a big national or even international brand in the same sector and find out what they're doing, where they're showing leadership and where they could be leaving a lot of money on the table. Let's put it that way. So we do this every week with the Supersize Media team on YouTube Live. And then next week, I'm very excited to share that we're going to do a full hour special on the general election in Scotland. So we're going to be looking at how the political parties are performing online and how much money they're spending on ads, how much traffic they're getting to their websites, and all that good stuff. So tune in for that, and that would be next Friday before the Scottish election. Voting starts on the 6th of May. All right, so today we're going to be covering Sheila Fleet and Ernest Jones. Sheila Fleet is a fantastic local organization, local jewelry, who's got a lot of reach, a lot of engagement. And then Ernest Jones is the jeweler that is a national brand, which we're going to look deeply into to find out where they're doing it great and where they need a bit of improvement. All right, so without any further ado, let me introduce you to the team. We have here Miss Petra, who is our superstar from Czech Republic. We also have Miss Amy, who's our superstar straight from Drum the Drucket. We have Alberto from representing Italy and all the fantastic things that Italy produces. And we are very grateful to have one of the products of Italy here in our team. And then the wonderful Emily, straight out of Livingston. So let's get started. We've only got a 30-minute window here, so let's kick it up straight off. So first of all, let's talk about the website of Sheila Fleet, and then we can have a comparison with what's happening with the website of Ernest Jones. So does anybody want to jump in and give us some kind of insight on what's happening there?
I could not find data on the website, probably because there's not enough traffic. So I'll base my judgment on the design and the look and feel of it. And it has a better feeling compared to Ernest Jones ones. And the only thing I would point out is this maybe excessive use of their main font, because sometimes it's just a bit hard to read. And I quite like the font, the colors. They've got this very light colors and very professional pictures going on. I think this is probably a Shopify website from the feel of it, but I'm not 100% sure. And one thing I noticed is that their sign-up newsletter doesn't really have a call to action, such as a 10% discount for your first purchase or free delivery and things like that. But what happens is that you get a sign up form popping up when you try and leave the website, which is an option that I've rarely seen, but it's quite effective, I think, because it reminds people there's still something left to do on the website for you when they leave. And so that might work when they visit the website. And then, as most of the website that we previously seen, the social media icons are at the bottom, but this seems to be a trend compared to putting them at the top and just giving people the option to jump straight on Instagram or YouTube or Pinterest, perhaps. So that's my initial critique.
Perfect. Thanks, Alberto. Anybody else got anything to say about the Sheila Fleet website?
Yeah, if I can add, because I found some data about the traffic and stuff. So they had 53,000 traffic in the last month. Most of the visits was from the mobile phones. It was 73.5% from the phone and only 26% from desktops. Visit duration was usually 5 minutes and 45 seconds. And people usually visited almost 10 pages, which is quite a lot, especially comparing to Ernest and Jones. Yeah, and I think that's, yeah, and also over 80% of the search came from organic search, 17% from direct search, and almost nothing from social media.
So often that means either they're not spending much time doing social media or they've just not prioritized it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Brilliant. Thank you so much for that, Petra. Okay, let's move on to Ernest Jones. What are they doing with the website? Anything that they're doing which is exceptional that you've discovered?
There's an awful lot of promotions and banners on their website in comparison to Sheila Fleet. But personally, I feel like this number of banners and promotions is a little bit too distracting. I would rather have a featured promotion.
Interesting. Yeah, I see what you mean. It's very shouty, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're spending, if you're spending £1,000, you don't want to be shouted at. You want a more kind of sedate, elegant, classy, more of an experience, because all of this shouting and lack of white space kind of takes away from the elegance and luxury, perhaps the experience that people would be expecting. Any other ideas from what's happening with the website?
I quite like the function at the top left, show similar. If you click on it, it's a very interesting feature. So basically from the social media feed, I guess, you can click on some of those pictures and you'll be presented with the option of finding out the products shown in the picture and buy them straight away. So it's almost like like an Instagram shop function, but in the website of like tagging products. And I've honestly never seen it before, like on any other website. So I believe it's a very, very interesting feature to have.
I like it a lot. Yeah, never seen that before.
I think that the thing about their website which surprised me is they're slightly more high-end high street jeweler, so it was surprising to see all the banners. But then I looked up and they're owned by the same company as H.M. Samuel, and it's very much like their website. So I think that they're just going for a similar feel. Maybe it's cheaper to like work with the same web designer in a similar format or whatever.
Ouch. Okay, cool. Yeah, what about traffic? Anybody found out anything about the traffic, where they're getting all their traffic from?
So 38% of their traffic comes from social So 38% of their social media traffic comes from YouTube, which I found quite interesting because their YouTube channel isn't particularly big. It's only got about 500 or so subscribers. So I'm guessing that they show ads on YouTube instead.
And what is the percentage of traffic coming from social media compared to other sources of traffic onto the website?
I'm going to check on that.
Well, I have it here. If it's
Go for it,
better.
Oh,
Petra.
go on.
Yeah, so it was almost 62% from organic search, then 24% direct search, and it was 1% or 5 from social media.
Mm. So again, it sounds like they're not really prioritizing social media at all, which is kind of surprising, but kind of not surprising, because a lot of businesses that were set up before the social media era haven't necessarily jumped on board with all the opportunities. So yeah, because they've been so successful before it, they haven't felt it was necessary to do anything with it. And then because they have a shop on many of the high streets across the UK, then that has been, I would imagine, their primary source of purchases rather than the online digital experience. What was the overall kind of level of traffic on their website like?
It was almost 3 million visits. So it was a lot. Yeah.
And is the profile actually well articulated? What I mean by that is sometimes you can find, and I don't know why, but it seems to happen a lot with jewelry companies, that they might be getting a lot of traffic, but it's not always the right type of traffic. So if you look at the audience insights, it'll tell you whether it's people who are interested in fashion, interested in jewelry, interested in luxury items, or if it's people who are interested in technology, websites, and politics, for example. What are you seeing from that?
I don't know, I just have this feeling that maybe a lot of these visits are just mistakes, because like from people usually visit only just over 3 pages, and if there is like almost 3 million visits, like I would expect people to spend more time on their website and just like to research more and see different products than just 3 pages.
And what's the bounce rate like then?
50%.
That's not bad actually. And then the audience profile?
So the audience interests, the top one is jewelry and luxury products. The second is fashion and apparel. And the third is news and media, and then e-commerce follows.
Perfect. Okay, so in that case, kudos to them. It all seems to be working correctly. So therefore, we can surmise that they're spending most of their online marketing dollars, pounds, on search engine optimization. And are they paying for Google clicks as well?
The top paid keyword is engagement rings, which I suppose is what they want to be seen known as, and that's their sort of key product.
Brilliant. So basically, they're very SEO focused, and they're spending most of their budget on PPC as well, rather than social media. Fantastic. All right. So what are we thinking about their social media as a result? Let's go back to Sheila Fleet and give us your feedback on how she's performing, how that company is performing when it comes to Facebook.
Aside from, I didn't spot that there was a Facebook shop on Sheila Fleet, although what impressed me with the Facebook page was there's a big sense of community, and there's an awful lot more engagement on the Sheila Fleet Facebook page opposed to the Ernest Jones Facebook page, and Sheila Fleet can get around maybe 100 likes on a post, whereas Ernest Jones, they can be pushing for 2 to 3 likes sometimes.
Wow, that's a big difference between a small brand that's keeping it real, keeping it authentic, and then the big brand that can often be very shouty but not getting the engagement. So, of course, as you know, with social media, if you're not getting the engagement, you're not getting the reach. So, therefore, we can pretty much anticipate that the Ernest Jones posts are not getting the numbers that they would expect, despite the fact that they have 82,500 fans on their Facebook page. However, if they're just doing that kind of shouty stuff on social media, yeah, I can see that the reach is going to be pretty pants. Any other comments on the both of them with their Facebook, with Sheila Fleet and Ernest Jones?
So Ernest Jones are currently running 24 ads, and all of their ads are either mentioning sales or discount codes, but there seems to be a lack of models wearing the products, which I think you kind of sometimes need that personal element when you're selling jewelry, like you want to see it worn, and I just don't think, in my opinion, Ernest Jones quite cracks that code.
Interesting. It's great to see that they're using the Facebook shop. Are they using the Instagram shop as well? And yeah, it's a lot of product shots, isn't it? And when it comes to social media, people want that narrative story in the images. So even if it's just a hand wearing the jewelry or an ear, it has more impact generally speaking, on social media than just having a straight product shot. So if we look at the Sheila Fleet, we've already got a way more captions happening. We've got what looks like a very good photo, but it's a real photo, not necessarily taken by a professional. Look at the level of engagement. That's stupendous. And this is what I love about doing that comparison between the big brands and the smaller ones, because the smaller ones can be really much closer to their audience and therefore getting that fantastic kind of response that they need. So I would imagine here within every single piece that they've put up, people are putting in all their different comments. And then, of course, occasionally the brand is jumping in and replying as well. And look, there's a lot of user-generated content. People are feeling comfortable enough to share their own images and pictures as well. And we can see the lovely Facebook shop on the left-hand side as well. Beautiful. Outstanding. Love when small businesses are getting it right, where the big businesses with their big marketing teams are missing a shot. All right, any final thoughts on Facebook before we move on to Instagram?
Well, mine's more a thought about Ernest Jones and that online presence as a whole. I think that Ernest Jones has fell into the trap that a lot of more high street brick and mortar chains have been doing, like retail chains have been doing, of not really understanding social media or e-commerce very well. And you see this in a lot of the like Mike Ashley owned retail businesses, that it's a push on, here's what the products look like, here's your saving, you're only getting this saving for one day. And I think that works in some areas. Like, it definitely works in fast fashion if you look at places like Boohoo and Pretty Little Thing and stuff. But I think that for jewellery, like high-end jewellery, I don't think that sort of approach works in all the product shops and shots and stuff. And I think a lot of high street businesses have struggled to adapt to being online.
Absolutely. Great points there. Thank you for that. All right, let's move on to Instagram. Any thoughts on how they're performing on Instagram, or are we discovering that it's pretty much same old stuff that's going on Facebook as well as Instagram as well?
Well, Sheila Fleet has the same content as Facebook as we would expect. And they've got the Instagram shop set up, and they also integrate products in their posts. And as as Facebook, as the same thing that goes on Facebook, they've got a very high level of engagement currently at 4.11%. And what I noticed is that their hashtag strategy could be improved, because what happens is sometimes they either don't include any hashtags in their post, and then they put up a comment with maybe, I would say, 10 of them, or the other way around. So they put all the hashtags in the caption, and then they don't comment with the rest. So they should definitely improve their hashtag strategy. Although, again, they have a very high level of engagement, so people are there and their followers seems to love them. And as again, one other thing that I've noticed is that the only thing that they do when people comment on their posts, either on Facebook or Instagram, they limit themselves to like the comment rather than maybe put a personal reply saying thank you or things like that. And that would absolutely step up their game even more.
Totally.
And then, as I've noticed that they don't have stories at the moment going on, but it might just be for today. But at the same time, there are no highlights being shown on the profile. And again, that's Sheila Fleet Jewelry.
Yeah, exactly. So it's quite surprising that they don't have any highlights there, because the highlights are there to operate as a kind of filing cabinet for your main theme. So if you've got a lot of stories, even though the stories only last for 24 hours, if you've got a lot of stories to do with rings, then automatically you push them into your highlight section, which is called rings. So therefore, your stories don't actually disappear within 24 hours. They actually live on forever within your highlights. So what I'm doing here is I'm sharing my mobile phone so that you can actually see the difference of what happens when you've actually got an Instagram shop set up. So rather than just having this particular image and then the nice caption around it and then all the different comments, what happens is you can see in the left-hand corner of the image, there's a little sign. If you click into that, instantly it takes you into the actual shop where you can click in, find out more information, get more details about this particular ring. And then if you actually want to make that purchase, off you go to the website, and it's going to actually take you to the specific page on the website where you can go in and then make your purchase depending on the size that you want and everything. So that's the number one reason why you want to be always using Instagram and Facebook shops, because when it comes to mobile phones, you can tag all of your products in every single post that you're doing. So if we just go to this one, go into view products, we can find out more about it, see all the details, and then Bob's your uncle. Brilliant. Awesome. Thanks for that. Really good insights. What about Ernst and Jones? How are they doing with their Instagram?
It's very much the same as the Facebook, but their most liked posts are the ones with people's faces in them. So you think they would use more of that, but they haven't.
Yeah, also what I've noticed about Ernest Jones is that they don't really create content, but they would much rather use content from the big brands that they sell. So see, for example, the ad with Julia Roberts or like other famous people in it. I think a strategy for them could be to do some in-house content and show people that they don't rely exclusively on content from the big brands.
Interesting. So they've not created anything by themselves then?
It doesn't seem like, unless they've got a very professional studio behind them taking very professional pictures. But to me, those pictures seems like the ones that you would find on a Cartier website or Omega website.
Wow. Okay. And then what's the engagement rate like?
Terrible. It's like, I think 0.4%.
Yeah, it's 0.13.
Yeah. So even
Yeah,
lower.
wow, that's pretty bad. And again, it just goes to show that, if you've got the engagement rate going really below, anything below 2% is really, really not great. Anything above 3%, you're cooking with gas. And of course, if you manage to get it into the 4s and the 10%, you're actually smashing it at that point. But yeah, so there's kind of no surprise already from what we've been seeing in terms of what their strategy is. That they're not doing particularly well on Instagram, or rather, obviously they're doing well in terms of the numbers. They got 20,000 followers, but that's still quite small for a large brand. And then the engagement is not particularly optimized, and then the images are not particularly personalized. But at least they're using the highlights and they're using the stories as well, which is great. So here we can see that's 2 stories that they've got up there that was put up there in the last hour. And it's giving you a 25% off total price. So it's not very much, it's true what you're saying. It's very much about here's the latest deal. It's that kind of shouty deal type of experience, which, it can work for you if that's what you want to be focusing on. All right. Any thoughts on any of the other social media platforms that you've looked at so far? Or is there anything else you want to talk about with the Instagram?
I just had a look at their Twitters, and it's mainly, especially Ernest Jones, uses Twitter mainly for customer service, because Twitter allows this very direct and quick reply to queries and issues arising maybe with deliveries of products. So they use it for that, and they also use it for content. While for Sheila Fleet, their Twitter hasn't been updated since December 2020. So they seem to have dropped Twitter with the start of the new year. And before that, they were doing quite a lot of customer engagement, not really customer service, but it was mainly answering and to people posting maybe a picture of their product or saying, oh, this product is great. So that level of engagement with user that is not seen on their Instagram and Facebook when people comment is actually done on Twitter. So maybe they should take that from Twitter to Facebook and Instagram, as they have a bigger audience.
Yeah, because obviously in terms of the development of social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter were the early platforms that you could work with as a business, and Instagram came on much later. So you can see that they developed their expertise on social media on Twitter early doors, but maybe they just haven't really kept up with the latest developments in the algorithms, and then how to build that community around you, how to be that go-to site for people who are passionate about jewelry. Amazing. Thanks for that. All right. Any other final thoughts before we wrap up today? We're all good?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so on that note, thank you so much for joining us today for the YouTube Live. We'll be back next Friday at 1 o'clock. Is it 1 o'clock? No. We'll be back at the usual time, 3:30, and we will be covering the general election. So it'll be a full hour because we're going to be covering not all the parties, because there's about 50 different parties that are going to be there. We're going to be covering all the main ones, including the new ALBA one as well, and see what they're doing well on social media, on all the different platforms, and where they could be doing a lot better as well. So there'll be no politics whatsoever. You will not know from any of us who we actually are in favor of. We'll just be judging them on their communication ability or understanding of social media and how they could be doing social media a lot better as a political party. All right, I'm looking forward to that. So on behalf of Amy, Alberto, Emily, and Petra, we'll see you all next week. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.